So the first one, obviously, to kick it all off, is there was, I don't know what it was for, but I know Kevin Hart was asking. I don't know if you know, Kevin Hart wasn't asking a question. Kevin Hart was answering the questions also. I don't know what the interview was, but The Rock and Kevin Hart were in some type of interview, and they were asked if there could be any celebrity's pet, whose pet would they be? And The Rock like immediately was like, Meg the Stallion. Like he wanted to be a dog for her, like, which sounds crazy. That sounds crazy. And then I think somebody asked him to elaborate. I think it was Kevin Hart asked him to elaborate, and he was like, "Am I going to?" So I was like, "Oh, he was about to get."
First of all, The Rock being on his hands and knees is crazy.
Yeah, like you're too big. You're too.
I don't want to imagine that. I'm sure he was speaking figuratively, but I don't even want to. Jesus.
Yep. So, everybody thought it was funny. Everybody said it was respectable. It's not like he said anything crazy, right? He just, I'm gonna leave it at that. Like he kept it respectful. He answered the question, you know. And then a few days later, here comes Party, and I feel like Party has a history. Like people see it as, oh, he's like defending his girl, and like, you know, with the Tory situation, like he's always is kind of like saying stuff and like tweeting Tory, and they was going back and forth on Twitter before. So he's just that type of guy that likes to like, you know, obviously defend her or whatever. But sometimes I feel like he does the most because like he was like commenting. I don't know where his comment was, but he was, you know, he was just being like, you could tell he was sensitive about it. And he said something about like The Rock's wife. I guess she's mixed. Like something about like worry about like the food or something. I don't want to misquote it. I forgot what his response exactly was, but it was something along the lines of like his wife being mixed and I mean white. Is his wife white? The Rock?
I don't know. I'm not familiar with his wife.
Let me see. Don't look at
that was
Amazon.
First of all, don't buy me anything that was just on that screen. Jesus Christ! Please do not, because
don't look at the gifts.
I will throw them. I will throw that out. Don't buy me that.
I'm buying stuff.
No, I promise you, I'll throw it out. Don't buy me. Don't ever buy me an article of clothing.
I'm not buying clothes.
Don't buy me an article of clothing.
Don't look.
Don't buy me anything unless it's. Listen, I'll pull up the full list.
No,
hurry up!
I can't buy you.
Hurry up! You're messing up the pod.
Cartier
Let's go. Cartier
watch. Okay, so I'm gonna get the exact thing that he said. He said, "All our dogs are named after numbers." So I think he was just like making a joke. Just teach your wife to use seasoning, you'll be all right. Moana is my shit though. So I guess his wife is like white or something, like something about seasoning.
Interesting.
So I feel like it's like, okay, haha, but at the same time, it's like, why'd you have to say all that? It was just a joke, right? Like, relax. Like, I mean, if somebody finds your girl or your guy, like, attractive, that's a compliment to you, right? Like, I never understood the whole getting mad. He didn't disrespect you. He just said, I just want to be her pet. Like, that's it.
I think it depends. Well, The Rock's married and he said that?
Yeah.
What does the pet mean?
No, I don't know.
Because I know men be. Remember we were watching the Pivot Show podcast, and Chan was talking about how his he pretends to be a cat.
Like, yeah, and it's a lot of weird stuff.
Yeah, people be in a certain bag. So hopefully that's not what he's talking
about.
Did
you see the clip?
I did see the clip.
Maybe you know how sometimes people just answer questions and don't really think. So maybe it was just like a quick answer, and then he just couldn't go.
Her pet. We're gonna have to think about this one. He's married. I mean, I wouldn't imagine that he would have.
I mean, even if you're married, I don't think that's respectful to the wife either. Like,
if I said I wanted to be some other girl's pet, because you could have said, well, I mean, if you would have said a man, the internet would have torn him apart. But if I said that I wanted to be another woman's pet, because what does that mean?
Yeah. I mean, it could mean a few things. Like, it could mean like something weird. It could also mean you just want to be around, like you just want to be like a lap dog, but that's still weird. Like,
all of the context of what it can mean is weird, especially if you have a wife and if he knew that Meg was in a relationship, which he might not. I would honestly, I wouldn't think that somebody with the amount of status that The Rock has would know who Pardison Fontaine is.
He might not have known. Like, people don't realize those are like, they're all celebrities, but like that's why even Meg's response was like she grew up watching The Rock. Like, this was like obviously she's like this is like I made it moment. So they're in two different statuses. Like the Rock has been relevant before like we were even born. Like
Yeah,
he's been around.
superstar.
He's been around like for a while.
That
So
definition of a superstar. He's the highest paid actor in the world
wow, yeah.
the
So
past few years. So
he's on a whole different level than a low key rapper, who, music what's it called songwriter. Like no one, party. He's makes good money and he's significant in the music industry, but that's a whole different world. Like you said, he probably didn't even know because like their relationship's not super really public like that anyway. Like so he probably that's a good point. He probably didn't even know
yeah, or he did know
and just didn't care.
and and there's something shady there because you don't know. There's so many different ways to take this, but I mean,
Apparently, Party tried to double back on it. He was saying like he's just playing.
of course, because after the response of everybody saying he's sensitive,
And look, doesn't
whatever.
that seem petty though? Like why he had to put the rock emoji?
I don't know. It's tough. I think it's one of those things because we had that conversation before on one of those pods where I was ranting for like about an hour about me wanting to fight people.
Yeah.
It's like an interesting thing because I think when everybody always says, "Oh, if you're a celebrity, you have money." It's almost like our conversation last week about skinny people or light-skinned women not being able to complain
Yeah.
about certain things, and like when people have money, then they're not allowed to complain about things, or if they have some sort of fame or celebrity, they're not allowed to complain about things or have feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's tough because just because you have money or some sort of fame or status doesn't mean that all of a sudden you should allow people to be disrespectful or not even disrespectful, just just say whatever they want about your girl or whoever it is, your family, your kids, just because you're a notable person. So it's tough. And while I do understand him wanting to defend all the time, like I don't know. I don't know how to really
Yeah,
navigate that.
I feel like that's like part of his image now. So he feels the need to always have something to say. Like he not even about to say anything. He could have just been like, "I feel you." I think people would have respected that, right? If he just was like, "I feel you," like a laughing emoji.
I don't know, because then if he did that, then people would be like, "Oh, you soft." Like,
Yeah.
it's, like you're never gonna win. In
No,
this
but I think
situation.
people were already coming at him anyway because they were saying, "Oh, like you let Tory do
Yeah,
this and that and that," but then you're trying to come for this 6 foot whatever 200-pound man.
yeah, it becomes tough because you want it. Like, I don't know.
Maybe just better not to say anything. He maybe just didn't have to say anything.
Yeah,
But
I
that
think
still could get judged too, though.
because it's the same thing about the Will Smith incident. Like for me, you can't. For me, I need extremes when it comes to that kind of stuff. Like defend your girl all the time to everybody, or don't defend her at all.
Yeah, that's true.
And we're using the word defend as if The Rock did something to her.
Yeah, like he did something bad. Like I think it was a little joke. Like yeah, it could have been a little weird, especially 'cause he has a wife. Yeah, maybe, but it's still like you could express like that you think someone's attractive without actually being disrespectful.
You could, but yeah,
Like
I
we're
think
all humans. People are gonna think other people look good, and that's just
it
life.
is what it is. It's a tough one.
And I feel like as a man and as a woman, like you just have to, like, why would you want somebody who's not good looking and desirable? Like I feel like that's like a comment to you. Like I feel like you have to be really insecure if you don't want that. Like why would you not want your girl to be like, oh, like a lot of guys want her, like I feel like that reminds me of a video I just seen on TikTok. There was a video of this girl that confronted another girl at the gym, and like apparently it was a two-story gym. The boyfriend was upstairs like hiding out. I feel like, but the girl, it was on camera too. The girl confronted the other girl, and like they said they saw each other like the day before, and like they kind of like waved, and she thought they were like cool. So the other girl like the next day like saw them again and kind of just like like awkward little smile because they thought they was cool. Like she sat near her mat or something, and they shared the space, so they kind of felt like you see the same people at the gym. You're like okay, like what's up, but then she came up to her and she was like, my boyfriend said that you was wiping your shorts in front of him and slowly bending down to pick up the weights. I'm like, first of all, imagine going to another man and saying, yeah, my girl said that you was doing this. Like, first of all, your man sounds crazy. Like, he probably was like tempted. Because why is your man even saying, yeah, she was rubbing her shorts? And like, either he's a gossip or he wanted her and was seeing things. And the girl was like, wait, what? Like, okay, I always wipe my shorts. My hands get dirty from lifting. And she's like, and I was probably lifting the weights slowly because I was tired. Like, I was getting them off the rack. Like, I wasn't, like, nobody's thinking about your man. So that's, like, basically the same situation. Like, as a girl, first of all, you're going to the gym with your man. There's going to be other girls at the gym, right? as a girl, if your man, you think he's attractive, and girls are like talking to him, that's something to laugh off. I would be like, oh, whatever. I'm like, if she, if she's lifting her weight, so fine, I don't care. Like you, at the end of the day, you're my boyfriend. You're coming home with me. Like, I just don't understand the insecurity of people. Like, just people are gonna find your boyfriend or your girlfriend attractive. Like, it's a good thing. Just laugh it off and go home. Like, it's not that deep.
I think it depends because there's the people I think that do it kind of like in a respectful way, and then there's the people that kind of don't, or they go way too extreme. So I think if we use Party for example, Meg obviously she has the persona that she has, and she's known for body image and things like that. And I think because of that, for whatever reason, in men's mind, and I'll never understand it, whenever they see a woman doing something like showing off her body, like in terms of like the dress, like let's say a top is cut a certain way, or shorts are a certain length, or a skirt or a dress is certain tightness, whatever it is, or they're twerking or they're doing all these different things. Immediately in a man's mind, and I don't know why, in my mind it's not like that. But for so many people, I don't even want to call them men necessarily because social media is full of kids. So, they don't get any women anyway. They immediately put these tags on women like she's a thot, like she's doing all this for internet attention and she's doing this for money, blah, blah, blah. For me, it's like super unfortunate because then you get that tag and then people make those assumptions about you. And then men say whatever the fuck they want about that girl. Like,
so you think that Rock just felt comfortable saying that because she's who she is?
A little bit, but I also think that the sensitivity on Party's end is because men.
Because he knows that.
Yeah, like that's what she's known. It's almost like
that's who you pick though, like.
Which is true, but the unfortunate part is like, because I said this to you before. For me, with certain things, it's not about the act itself. It's about the way people react to the act. So, for example, if you went out, like you said, you didn't want to run in certain shorts, right? For me, I would love to run naked because you got the breeze. It feels amazing. So you feeling insecure about wearing certain shorts, that doesn't bother me. And that's a bad example because other people's reaction to that wouldn't bother me. But like, let's say like public.
That's why when I went to that white party, I was asking you, me not wearing a bra, does it look bad?
Yeah.
And you were like, no.
I'm like, I don't care.
But that's your perception. Like, I low-key could have been judged. And obviously, like, her family was there too. So I was like, oh my God, like your grandma's sitting over here, ham. My boob just swinging around. I was like this the whole time. I put my jacket on, but it's like, of course you said that looked fine, but to other people they can perceive it as, oh, she's
whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like, to me, it doesn't matter, but it's other people's reactions. So because of that, it's like he probably doesn't care about what she does on social media, or else he wouldn't have tried to date her, pursue her, whatever.
Yeah.
But other people's reaction is bothersome because people get to say whatever they want. Like, oh, she a thot. Like, all she do is shake ass. Like, that's all she good for. She a thot. She be around with all these blah, blah, blah. And somebody talking about that to your girl who probably isn't even like that in the first place. Like, she could be making all the twerk videos in the world, but she may have literally not be for the industry, as they say. Like, she could just be chilling.
Been with like 5 people.
If that, like, you really don't know at the end of the day. So it's unfortunate because it's like women can't do shit. Like, you gotta be wearing a 2-piece suit as a woman for you to not be perceived that way. Like,
I could not be famous.
It's unfortunate. So that's probably why he like jumps on every little thing about every time.
It just makes you look soft though. Like you don't ask, like, you shouldn't have dated her then. I mean, I get defending her with the whole Tory thing, right? But it's like sometimes you just look crazy doing all that.
Sometimes, but
I mean, I think it's more respectable than not.
Yeah, with certain things, like people, because like that's what I was saying. I'm like, it's unfortunate because the second a woman says anything, or like the second a woman has a certain like public perception. Like, I was just watching it came across my reels. It's not even like it was anybody popular, but they were like, POV, you go to a HBCU, and it was just a bunch of like the whole video was basically just an outside party in like a dorm quad or something like that. A lot of twerking, it's a black event. There's gonna be a lot of that. But in a male's mind, for some reason, the second a woman does anything that's not like her standing in the corner like a statue,
Yeah.
then immediately they get all these perceptions. Oh, she's this, she's that. I'll be able to do this. Like she for the streets. That whole like celebrity lifestyle that men that have no money or like no popularity try to get off. Like they want to feel like they relate to Future bars and Drake bars when they really don't.
It's crazy.
They just say whatever they want. Like, oh, she this, blah 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 blah. I'm like, all right. It's kind of like the same thing about the hypocrisy about like men will bash porn stars when they have like when they're on a podcast or something. Like if they're talking about sex, they'll like bash them, like stay in your daughter's lives, but they're
the same ones consuming
jerking off to porn, and like it's just
it's psychotic.
Men are crazy, but because of that and the shit that they say on the internet,
I think everybody's crazy.
I could understand how someone like Party would feel away, even if you do have someone like Meg Thee Stallion.
Like I said, the Tory thing makes sense because like that's somebody that harmed your girl, and that's somebody that's harming her in public. You know, like saying all these things. The Rock situation is different. That's somebody basically commenting your girl, and you kind of feeling away. You know, like
he might feel.
One thing to defend your girl, it's another thing to basically just defend yourself. Cause that's kind of what he was doing.
It might be like might end up being like the Will Smith situation where like he's the butt of all these jokes and stuff like that. He's
becoming that. The way that everybody was coming at him when this happened, the tweets were wild. People were like just coming at him crazy. Like I was like, oh, what did he say? He must have became at the Rock crazy. And when I found out this is all he said, I was like, oh, like you guys were doing a lot, like on Twitter. The way people were like clowning him, I was like, oh.
They're probably just clowning him literally because the Tory thing. Smith, like you know, popping shit on Twitter, and then of course nothing happens. Nothing is gonna happen.
Nothing's gonna happen.
Like, what do you expect? It's like people are weird, right? Because now if he slid on Tory and killed him, then now it's like, oh, he's so dumb, like black on black crime. All right, let's go to something else. Let's go to something else because people just be getting on my nerves.
You were stupid.
Black on black crime. I know. You threw away your whole life. Because y'all dumbasses on the internet was like,
pressuring him to pull up.
You ain't slide on Tory though. I know.
Stupid.
That's our community.
Yep.
Never make any progress around here.